What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Pulling Back the Rug, where I am your host, Hope. And on tonight, I am so excited about the guest that I have. Now, I know some of you all are probably wondering, is he really on the show? Yes, he is really on the show. So when I think about him, I think about over 20 years in the music industry. I think about husband, father, chef, all of those things. So we're going to get right into it. You all welcome my guest on tonight, none other than Mr. Michael Stokes. Hey,
Oh, hey, how you doing?
I am good. How are you?
I'm great.
So you made it to the rug.
Yes, I did.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Because now, I've been trying to get you on this rug for a long time.
Yes, you have.
And I'm really just, I'm ecstatic that you are here for real in the flesh.
I appreciate it.
Okay. So I'm going to get right into the questions that I'm sure everybody wants to know. So let me ask the first one.
Okay.
What inspired you to go into music?
Well, as a kid, growing up on the west side with mom and dad, whole family Atlanta musicians, my brother Albert, my brother Cornelius, we all grew up in the church. They was all organ players.
Okay.
So when Albert went to the service, he had to step down. Then Cornelius tried. He stepped down. So it was left to me.
Okay.
So, just playing around on the organ on when we hit the church on Western,
Okay.
the old Imperial Theater, original Mount Zion, Reverend
Okay.
Reverend J.W. Jackson.
So when did you know, like, no, you were going to be a musician? I mean, a good one, too.
It took a little time. It took a
Okay.
little time, as a teenager growing up, I was, just playing around, fiddling around, because I just wanted to be the drummer.
Right. Oh, a drummer?
Yes.
Wow.
That was the fight, me and my brother.
Okay.
He was the head drummer, but he wouldn't let nobody play. He just had to play the drums. But, as we got older, he started playing, then I started playing the drums. But then, he moved on. Wasn't nobody there to play, so I started playing around. So mom seen, she was like, "No, you got something in you, boy.
Okay.
You got something in you." So she invested in me.
Okay.
So I ended up downtown. My first musical teacher, uh, the late Lord, what's her name?
Can't think of it.
I can't think of her name. As I think of it, I give it to you. But she was my teacher, and and she molded me and everything, and made me to who I am now. Then I had a couple of friends. His name Lamar Keys,
Okay.
and my other guy Andre. He had passed on as well. They are my influences that got me started.
Okay. So how do you feel now? Because you 20 years in the game,
Yeah.
right? Over 20 years. How do you feel now being considered the OG?
Kind of make you feel kind of old, but but it's been good. It has its perks.
Okay. Because I look at the musicians now and they not like the musicians that I'm used to like back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. So do you see that difference too?
Yes, I do. A lot of them they just quick to learn,
Yeah.
but they haven't picked up their background. You know.
Got you. So, what is your take on having, because I'm jumping right into it on pulling back the rug, okay?
Okay.
What is your take on having a healthy, godly marriage, even though rumor has it, all musicians cheat? They say, if you a musician, don't mess with him. So tell me for real, how do you go day to day having a healthy marriage, a godly marriage?
Let me start off by saying I was grounded with my mom.
Okay.
She taught me the values of being a good man. Yes, my dad did teach me, but mom, she structured it.
Right.
To be a good man, stay faithful, stay true to it, stay in love if you're going to be in love, you know. Stay true to who you're gonna be with. You
Hmm.
know, try to be with one woman.
I heard you say try.
Yeah,
Try
yes,
to
she
be.
did. She
Wait a
said
minute.
because at my age,
Oh, okay.
at
Okay.
my age, that where I'm at, she's saying, hey, don't go out there trying to be all fast.
Okay.
You know, don't do that. But I advise you, if you're going to go out there, don't get into a relationship. Go see the world.
And I asked you that question because we were talking about old school and new school. And right now, you see so much cheating, so much negativity amongst the music world when it comes down to relationships and stuff. So, what is it that you can say to a younger, upcoming musician? Because that rumor is true. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? All musicians cheat.
very
So,
true. So the advice is if you're gonna be grounded and you want to make the relationships and say I'm going to be in a relationship, make sure that's what you want to do.
yeah. Now,
Now,
that's
if that
good.
ain't what you want to do, then go do you, but don't put everybody into your mess.
Did y'all hear that? Now listen, y'all getting schooled today. Because first of all, let me just say this: I am excited that you are talking. Because if you know, you know. He don't do no talking. So this is, yeah, this is good. I know that it's not easy, especially being a musician in Chicago. So God has afforded you to do some traveling and to play with a lot of people. So who have you played with in the industry?
When I first started out in my career, the Bishop Troy Gardner, he picked me up and told me come with me, and I'm gonna take you. That was my first plane ride with Bishop Troy.
Wow.
He took me on my first plane ride and got me out, and let me explore life as a musician.
Hmm.
My first not group, but my first famous preacher was I Own a Lot.
Okay.
I ended up down there in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio,
Hmm.
and playing for it was a 3-day revival, and she preached two of them, and I ended up playing up behind her.
Okay. What does it take to be an anointed musician? Because we got a lot of good musicians, but of course we know that the anointing makes the difference.
Yes, it does.
So how can an upcoming musician get to that point?
Well, to my perspective is get into your word, pray.
Hmm.
Learn whoever you're with,
Hmm.
whatever pastor or preacher you're playing with. Learn them.
Hmm.
When you learn them, then you'll know the flow of how they're going or which way, and then you can, spiritually it'll connect.
I mean, you got answers too. Boy, we pulling back the rug. Okay. So I know that you play with the shop choir,
Hmm.
right? I know that you're a sound extraordinaire. Like you get in there, you do some of the stuff, the mix, and all of that. You do a lot. You got a lot under your belt.
Yes.
So I've watched throughout the years and how you cultivate the younger generation. Have you had how you have sons?
Yes.
So I know you don't call everybody son. I know you don't do that, but what makes you want to help younger musicians? Like, what do you see that causes you to say, "Yeah, let me get them."
I had to learn in the early age to now to help because didn't nobody want to help me
Wow, that's good.
because I'm out here and I'm struggling
Mhm.
because I'm thinking I had it together, but I didn't.
Mhm.
So when I get with the guys, hey, what can you do to help me to get where I need to go?
Mhm.
Uh, just go back and learn this and go learn that. But they never said, hey, let me sit down with you
Wow.
and show you.
Yeah.
I never had that type of instruction, to say, come on, we can work out together.
Yeah.
Until I got with, a couple of close friends to say,
Right.
hey, I'm gonna show you.
Mhm.
And when they showed me, I was gone from there.
And so you do the same thing for your generation.
Yes.
Well, not your generation, but the
No,
younger
the younger
generation that's
generation.
coming up.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Did y'all hear that? So to the person that is watching, just in case if you are in the music industry or whatever field you may be in, it's nothing wrong with helping somebody that's starting out. That's what you're saying. There's nothing wrong with investing in someone who's watching you, who wants to be like you, not be you, but be like you. So there's nothing wrong with taking a little time out to help somebody. Now, I know you were playing, you were doing, you were going. You've been in the game a long time. And we all know life be lifing a lot.
all day.
And so here comes COVID. Just all of a sudden, life is normal one day, and then all of a sudden, COVID, boom, everything changes. We're on lockdown. To me, I had COVID and it was okay. I got over it and went on about my life. But for you, COVID hit a little different. So one day you cool, and then all of a sudden you find out you have COVID. So can you take me back to that day?
Okay. Right before my birthday. It's like the beginning of April. Me and the wife just laying there, but
Put your
then
mic up there so the people can hear you.
me and the wife had went there. We went to the hospital because her job said go get checked. So instead of her going in, I end up going in. When I get in there, they rush me straight in and told her to go home.
Wow.
Yeah, they rushed me straight in because I nearly fell out uh, at the table.
So did you know you had COVID?
No, I didn't know.
No symptoms, no nothing.
I had the symptoms, but I didn't know of the symptoms
Right.
back then. You know,
So you just normal, take your wife, and then all of a sudden you go in
yeah,
and everything starts to change.
yeah,
So they get you in the hospital. They tell you have COVID.
yeah.
So now, and I'm happy that I'm asking you this because we heard of how people were quarantined and they couldn't have visitors and this and that. But what was that experience like?
Well, that was very serious. I mean, it was very scary. People walking in with those gowns and sheets on, they
Yeah.
can't touch you. It was very scary.
So you just by yourself.
Yeah, I was by myself.
So everything you did, you had to do what through your phone?
Yeah,
But things kind of got a little worse for you.
yeah, it did. The turn turned worse after my birthday.
Okay.
It turned for the worse. They called her and telling my wife, hey, y'all got to make some changes because if his breathing doesn't get any better, we finna put him on the machine. So I'm telling him, no, I'm not getting on no machine.
So you wasn't going.
I wasn't going. I said, y'all need to tell me what else to do to make me better
Yeah.
because I'm not getting on the machine. So
So probably you not getting on that machine saved your life.
basically,
Because that's how I felt. I'm like, I ain't getting up. I may not can breathe, but let me get up under this cover or something. I'm not going to the hospital.
no,
So things got really, really bad.
yeah,
So if I go a little deeper into that story, you were not the only one in your family who contracted COVID.
no. My niece caught it 1st. While I was in the hospital, they put her on the ventilator.
Okay.
So she was the first one. Then it was me. Then after my sister, I'm gonna say after my niece, my sister went. My sister went. Here go my dad. He didn't want to go,
Right.
but in the end, he ended up dying.
So you lost your sister,
I lost my dad first,
your daddy first,
and then I lost my sister 2 days after.
all in the midst of while you were trying to get well.
Yes,
What was that like?
I was going crazy. I was a madman. Get me out of this hospital so
Yeah.
I can go see my dad and my sister.
So you had to get the news through the phone
Yes,
by yourself.
yes.
Wow.
I had to watch my sister die on an iPad.
Wow.
Yes.
Because you hear about it, but what was that emotion like?
Oh, it was just terrible. You know.
But you were well enough to go to both the services.
Yeah.
Wow. But now, talking about COVID, your wife had COVID as well, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, wait. I'm trying to do the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
All of this happening all at one time.
Yeah.
So now, your wife gets COVID. So her case is bad as well,
Yes.
just not as bad as yours to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Then you lose your dad, and then you lose your sister. You strong.
That's the strong one.
So your wife is
My
strong.
wife is the strongest.
So your wife praised you through it.
Yes, she did.
Wow.
She the one had to come out of her bed to go see about my dad and my sister.
Wow.
She the one had to come out of her bed and do that. I mean, I congratulate her.
Y'all hear it. That's why it paid to have a helpmeet.
Yes.
Not just somebody that can make you feel good, because we get it mixed up. We think that marriage is, a lot all the time about that. It's not. It's about having somebody that when you at your lowest point, they'll pray for you. They'll nurse you back to life. Kudos.
The whole
Let me just,
nine.
I'm going to do a shout out. Kudos to you, Mrs. Stokes, Mrs. Dorothy Stokes, because that means a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's my buddy.
That's your buddy.
That's my buddy.
Yeah, you smiled a little bit when you said her name. Okay.
That's my ride or die.
All right, you gonna get you some points today. So, let me ask this question, and this may be I don't know, it may seem a little awkward, but in the midst of what you went through with losing your dad and your sister, God allowed you to live.
Yes.
Why do you think God allowed you to live? What is it that you're supposed to be doing? Because God wasn't ready for you yet.
Why are you here to do that?
I'm just asking. This is pulling back the rug,
It
right?
is,
I'm
it
just
is.
asking, why do you think God left you here
You left me here to spread the word.
to spread? Now look, y'all getting an exclusive on pulling back the rug. Now y'all heard it. He said it. So that means you're accountable.
Yes, I am.
Because you didn't spoke it out your mouth. He said God left him here to spread the word, the good news.
Yes.
So what you're telling me on the pulling back the rug platform is that God called you.
Yes.
Have you answered yet? Is the question.
I answered, but I don't want to be the ordinary preacher.
That's good.
I don't want to be the bootleg preacher.
Come on, bootleg.
I want to be the right preacher
Right,
and be held accountable because I'm doing it right.
right. So
That's-
you'd just rather chill
Yes.
until God say, now it's time to move.
Yes. I'm in my learning stages right now. You
Okay.
know. A lot of people don't know I'm studying.
Okay.
So, yes.
So you're not just playing keys and organ and doing sound. You in the Word of God.
Yes.
So what is it that you want more of?
I got to have a better understanding of the word before I can present the word.
Okay. So now you know it's probably people like, what? It's probably gonna be some of your preacher buddies that's gonna be like, hey man, you should come on, get under me. But I love the fact that you said you're gonna wait on God to give that clear instruction. You want to learn. So you're not trying to mess people up. You really want to give them substance.
Yes.
Come on, I love it. You talking too. You talking good. So let me ask you another question. And listen, I'm prepared, okay?
Okay.
My next question to you, with everything that's going on right now, you just said God has taken you to a place where you know that there's a calling on your life. You're studying, you're doing. Good person, family man, husband, all of those things. You dealt with COVID, conquered that. You dealt with some other challenges, some other health challenges, conquered that. Here it is now. We're in 2025. And now you are in a position where there's something else you have to conquer, right? So we gonna get to pulling back the rug, but a lot of people see you. You don't say much, man, a few words, but I mean you a beast on that good old organ. And so people see this strong person, but you dealing with a lot. So there's some things that I know, and just in preparing for this show, I asked you, was it okay? And you said okay. So pulling back the rug, I want you all to know. Look, I asked for consent before I say anything, okay? And we gonna deal with some stuff because now you're in the fight of your life. So tell me a little bit about that.
I don't call it a fight. I call it a mental challenge. And
Okay,
that's going to end up in a breakthrough.
okay,
You
okay.
know,
He
nothing.
said he don't call it a fight. Okay. It's going to end up in a breakthrough.
Yes.
Okay. So here it is now. You're dealing with another health challenge. But we already know you got the victory. You strong. Um, why is it that you think God continues to allow you to go through things yet conquer things?
I'm waiting on that answer.
Yeah.
Waiting on that answer.
But have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I thought
Like,
about
God,
it.
what is it? What is it that you're trying to show me, teach me?
Yeah.
Because we know that God is faithful. We know that He can deliver us from all things. And like you said, and I love it. You said, I'm not in a fight. Because a lot of times when we go through different health challenges, we say we're fighting. Actually, we have a lot of slogans that say I'm fighting cancer, I'm beating diabetes, everything. I'm fighting for this, I'm fighting for love. But when are we gonna stop fighting, like you said, and just accept the victory? Because that's what you just said.
Yeah.
Accept the victory. You fighting, but accept the victory. So, okay. So you already know that God has his hand on you.
Yes.
And I asked you, why do you think God continues to leave you here? And you said, because you have a call. So what's next?
What next is the scripture being an overcomer by my testimony.
Okay.
And I'm going to overcome this thing and I'm going to live to tell it.
You're going to live to tell it.
Yes.
And this isn't something from your past. This is now.
Yeah, this is now.
You're dealing with something right now. And let me ask you this. When you first found out, here it is again, you're dealing with a health challenge. You find out, how did it make you feel? Like, what was your emotion behind it?
Went to that doctor and, they was threatening the scare already.
Yeah.
Your PSA level is a little elevated. So, I was like, okay, you said a little elevated, so that means, it's just nothing to be alarmed about.
Right.
When I changed my doctor, she was like, no, we're going to look further into this. And then when we looked further into it, yes, they found out I had stage 2 prostate cancer. So when they told me that, I looked at them like, oh, okay. Okay, let's roll with it.
Right.
But I can't believe the report of the doctor.
Come on.
I have to believe the report of the Lord on this one.
That you're already here.
That I'm already healed and it's already done. So what you say to me, you're not gonna scare me. So let's keep going. Let's move on. Let's deal with the punches.
Because you're probably one of the calmest people I've ever seen that's dealing with cancer. You don't stress about it. You just chill. Probably to some people, like you too chill, while other people, of course, have a emotional reaction or they feel some type of way. And it's like because the first time you hear that word, it's just like oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what the outcome is. Well, yes, you do because you've already confessed it. But when you're first starting out, you have all these different questions in your mind. What's going to happen? What about this? What about that? Did you experience that as well?
Yeah, and then when I got with my wife, to know that she was all right, it made me better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why everybody breaking down? Hey, no, it's not this serious. Get yourself together.
Yeah.
I'm together.
Right.
We're together as a family. And that's what made everything better.
And so now you just ready to do what you do.
Yeah.
So you can already go ahead and tell people how you overcame by your testimony.
That's it.
This because even now so you're probably one of the people now. I don't know what they think watching. You have the same facial expression for everything. Playing the keyboard, good news, bad news, whatever. It's just the same. So like you said, people around you were breaking down, crying, doing different things. And you just like, what? Only a God could cause you to react that way. Because I know personally, I'm like, oh, no. You know what I mean? That's just a normal reaction. Like, oh, my God, what we going to do? But you already believe the report of the Lord.
Exactly.
Listen, y'all. So to the person right now that may be dealing with a health scare, and it doesn't necessarily have to be cancer. It could be anything. You're dealing with something and you're worried, stressed out, frustrated, don't know what the outcome is going to be. Here it is. This man of God, I'm just go ahead and say this man of God just told you that God already has the situation.
That's it.
Already got the situation. And you're not the first one to deal with this. Within the past, I'll say 6 months, so many people have dealt with different cancers around me. Point of fact, one of them that's dealing with cancer rung their bell today. And I thought it was just amazing that we was doing this show because I said I couldn't wait to tell you that victory is already around you because he rung the bell today.
Oh, wow.
Had the same thing, same stage, everything, rung the bell today. So it just let me know, oh, okay, God, we got this in the bag. And so after you deal with this, what's one of your goals? What's the next thing you want to do?
Get my barbecue business up and running.
Let's talk about barbecue. Barbecue, Smoke Brothers.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you had a good old restaurant over there in River Oaks. Now, if y'all ain't ever tasted his barbecue, y'all need to get his phone number because that food be good. Listen, and you don't need no barbecue sauce for real. So that's what's next.
That's what's next.
You're going to get yourself completely whole, healed, and then you're going into the next phase of your life, which is a barbecue spot.
Yeah.
So what's different in your barbecue versus the other hundreds that we have in the city?
Well, you just spoke it. You don't need no sauce.
Don't need no sauce.
You don't need no sauce. You can taste every bit of the seasoning.
Okay.
You never got to expect nothing dry. Everything is perfected.
So would you say that cooking is your passion?
It's my love because,
Okay.
It came from mom.
Okay.
The teachings of mama.
Okay.
Learning from her. She different techniques of how to cook. It's home taught.
So you got a special season.
Yes.
So can I have your ingredients? No. It's okay. You ain't have to say it. Your look said it all. But I'm saying, have people ever, like, Let me get that.
Yeah.
Really? Do you think you'll ever sell it?
Uh, I don't think so.
Because it's definitely something different.
It is.
I don't know what the different is, but it's definitely something different in the season. So how long did it take you to perfect it?
Oh, it took us a good minute. It took us about 3, 4 years.
So every time you do it now, it's consistent.
Yeah, it's very consistent.
But you're not gonna tell me what? Come on,
I can't do that.
you won't pulling back the rug. You no.
Yeah,
You-
but you know, I got you later.
Okay, okay. Long as you give me some of it, it's okay. But I've had some of your food
Yeah.
and it's good. So that is your goal. And so do you think you love it more than music?
Nah,
Music is just your whole
that's
life.
in my bones. It'll never go away. It's gonna
So
always be.
what is it that you think sets you apart from other people? Because now talking to you, you'll say, "Oh, yeah, I play the organ. I'm all right." But to somebody who is watching you, who's coming up, they like, "Oh my God, what did you do? How do you remain humble?"
I kept God first, and I kept studying to enhance myself, to make my own, make Michael me.
So how often do you study?
Well, I could say I done fell off, so,
Okay.
but back then it was every day. It was every day.
How many hours?
I spent like 2, 3, 4 hours.
How many hours you practice cooking?
Whenever it's time to cook.
Okay. So music is your love now.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And I'm only asking that because now we're in a generation where some musicians feel like they don't have to practice that much.
Oh, you got to
Do
practice.
you see it all the time?
Yes.
Can you tell?
Yes.
How?
Well, I'm gonna put one in. I'm gonna put one up on me. Where I got the Home of Life back in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
I had Reese Whitley up under me,
Mm-hmm.
and when he got comfortable and he was ready to play, I went and sat down. So when his time was up
Mm-hmm.
and it was time for me to get back on, I could recognize in my playing, oh, I done messed up
Mm-hmm.
because I forgot to start practicing.
And I love the fact I asked you about an example, and you gave an example of yourself.
Yes.
Because it's so easy for us to see what's wrong in somebody else. But you gave the example of yourself needing more work, obviously. Get back in there because, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, see, he's dropping nuggets. Somebody who don't say much, you have a lot to say. Now, let me ask you this. Let's pull back the rug because I want to know.
Okay.
Okay? And I didn't give you this question to practice.
Okay.
Okay? Tell me, what is the big thing with transposing? I want to know. Let's pull back the rug. I'm going to put you in the hot seat. First of all, I don't even know what that means, but I want to know. What is that?
Transpose means you taking this to a key that you comfortable in playing it.
Okay. So when you transpose, that means that you cheat a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're not supposed to
You're
transpose.
not supposed to.
So transposing, is it for people that's lazy?
Both.
So you may not know, but then some people don't want to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the big deal with transposing? Come on, tell me.
It's not a big deal. It's just, some of us musicians, we recognize and be like, you really not that comfortable in playing?
So what is it? Is it like something? What is it? Programmed or something? Because I'm confused.
It's
Like,
in the keyboard,
okay,
and you can transpose from a +1 to a plus whatever, +12, or a -1 to a -12.
but it's keys.
But it's keys.
So transposing makes it look like you know all of your keys.
Yes.
Got you. Okay, because I wanted you to break it down because I was lost. So transposing makes it seem like you know all of your keys. But the real truth comes out if somebody starts singing something and there's no transpose button.
Yeah.
Huh. So really, transposing is for somebody who is it because they don't want to study the music or they look for the easy way out?
Well, it's both.
Okay, because I know right now, look, musicians, I already know they probably typing because y'all want to put your little, because I don't know the difference. But I see so many wars on Facebook about transposing. Should you transpose? Don't, like, what is the big deal?
Yeah, we prefer that you make your mind stronger.
Okay,
Learn it. Learn
okay.
it. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to go rehearse and practice it.
Your keys, you
Your
mean?
keys.
Okay. So to somebody that's making $1,000 a show, they not supposed to transpose.
No, no. But we know a lot of people that do it. Even in the shows, they don't,
Because it's easy, right?
yeah, it's
It's
easy.
the easy way out. But what you're saying as the OG in the industry is learn your keys.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. I just wanted to know. I wanted to pull the rug back because, yeah. I mean, people be fighting over this
They do.
transposing. And I'm like, what is it? Okay, let me ask you another question. How do you tell, and I'm asking you this because you're a man of wisdom. How do you tell a musician that you can't play?
That's kind of harsh to say.
Okay,
We have
so
to
you don't say that.
Nah.
So you find a way to finesse it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a lot of them, I know a lot of guys that come out and just say, "Hey, man, you just can't play. You need to go back and do it. Start all over again. Get up under somebody that's gonna teach you."
But what do you say to the one that's arrogant, that feels like they have it all together, but in your mind you like, hey, this man.
Some of them you have to pull them off their high horse. You got
Okay.
to be bold with them. Hey,
So would you say you're that person?
if you real cocky with me, yeah, I'm gonna tell you.
Okay. So you don't mind telling the truth and correcting.
Yeah, I don't mind.
That's crazy because to me, you seem like a person of few words, but for the person that gets under you and that's willing to listen, you have a lot to offer.
Yeah.
Why is it that you think upcoming musicians won't listen? What's the difference between back then and right now? Like, first, I got something. Okay. I'm about to get you in trouble.
Okay.
Okay. Because a lot of musicians now, they're different. And I'll just say different because they have a difference of opinion, or you know what I'm saying, they're stuck in their ways. Where do you think the respect has gone? One, for the house of God when it comes down to musicians. And because, and I say that because there was a time where musicians came in, they took their hats off. Musicians were in the word, they were godly men. Now, and this is no shade to anybody, but sometimes you go to church and the musicians reek. They smell like weed, they smell like alcohol. And they get offended when that pastor says, hey, you can't come in here like that. And then it's like, well, I don't got to play for you. But what do you think? Where's the respect now?
Well, respect has gone out the window a long time. It's been a long time. They really don't have the respect and the reverence for God
Okay.
in these days and time. I don't know what happened, where the loophole went, but they need to learn. But then they get offended when you are, hey, bro, can you take your head off in church?
Right.
Hey, bro, why you coming in here like this in morning service?
Right. Right.
It's not tolerated here.
Because I shouldn't know what you did the night before.
Exactly.
And if I'm honest, some people don't do it the night before. They do it that morning.
That morning.
So do you think that it's an anxiety thing now?
I believe it is because a lot of them can't function.
That's good. Because they function so much on weed.
On it. Yeah.
Until now they need it.
Yeah.
So what we gonna do?
Hard. We got to keep praying.
So have you ever had to like tell somebody you smell like alcohol or you smell like weed.
Yeah.
Was it received?
Yeah, they received it because they went. They tried to air out as best they could.
Yeah.
But you know better. You got to learn better and do better.
Right.
If you're trying to keep a job, why you want to keep bouncing from church to church?
Right.
That's your resume is being horrible now
Yeah.
because now you putting on your resume. I was here 2 months. I was here 3 months.
Right.
That's not a good resume.
So, why do you think we have so many of our younger generation that's addicted to weed, to alcohol? What's lacking?
Guidance,
Got you.
guidance. They don't have nobody to answer to. A lot of them.
So, would that be that you think a lot of them don't have pastors, or they may have pastors, but because I mean, I know some people that sit under great leaders, but they still struggle.
Yes.
So, where's the struggle coming from?
The addiction.
What we gonna do?
That's what we keep praying for.
Keep praying.
Because in this situation, it's just it doesn't matter what you do. You
Yeah.
just do you, but be respectful. Be respectful in the eyes of God and the church.
Right.
You have to learn to be respectful. Okay, I'm going to church today. If I'm going to church today, I ain't got time for that right now. I do it after church.
Right. So, what do you say about the person who can't play without it? Now, because I know some cold musicians. They cold long as they high. Because we pulling back the rug.
Yeah.
But if they sober, they can't hear the note. So it's kind of like what do you do? You know what I mean? Of course, it's like, yeah, you need some treatment. But then it's almost like it's altered. What they have, their abilities have been centered around this addiction. So how do we get to the point of help? I know you said pray, but outside of pray, what are we going to do?
They have to learn to first learn how to function without it.
Okay.
That means let me go in here and practice so I can make sure I'm tight and I'm right if I'm going to do this without this.
But who's going to help them is what I'm saying. Because if you see it, you be like, oh, that's just them. Then somebody else see them, oh, that's just them. And there's a lot of just them, and they still like this. So would you say that you're one of the people that will say, let me help you. Let me mentor you because this ain't the way.
True. We old heads have to learn to be held accountable for these young guys.
Yeah.
Especially if they are under us or they saying they admire us or I like what you're doing. I want to be up under you and all this. They have to learn to say, hey, in order for us to be together and do this, let's hold you accountable for the things that you do.
Y'all heard it right here. Did y'all hear the man a few words talking tonight? Listen, this is going to go down in the books because I'm almost certain there are a lot of your children right now, and you only got a few that's looking like Pop is really up there doing the interview. Now, your emotion ain't changed, but you are actually giving help to people, pulling back the rug, telling the truth, saying what it is so that we can better ourselves. So listen, I pray that on tonight you heard something, especially to our music community. I really pray that you heard the wisdom that came forth when it comes down to who you're supposed to be, what light you're supposed to be shining, what you're supposed to be doing. Number one, as God-fearing people. And if you don't have a relationship with God, then here it is. There's still room.
Yes.
There's still time. And he's still willing to accept you just as you are. And we already heard on tonight that healing is already our portion. We're going to be praying for you.
Thank you.
Okay? I need everybody that's watching right now, send some hearts Put them prayer signs up because we already know that you're healed. And they heard part of your story. So I'm going to bring you back when you ring that bell.
Okay.
Okay? I'm going to bring you back because he going to ring that bell.
Yes, I am.
He's going to ring that bell. And to everybody who is right in the midst of dealing with a health situation, you may have cancer, you may have another unknown illness, or you may have an illness that you've been dealing with for some years. There is healing for you. And so we pray for everybody that's watching on tonight. We hope that something was said on tonight that is going to let you know you can make it. You can make it. The man told you can make it. So until next time, this has been Pulling Back the Rug. And as I say every single week, there are a million reasons to love, but there should never be one reason, not one reason to hate. Until next week, peace.